All right, welcome to a new series that I'm starting because a lot of people are new to Run 8 and they've got a lot of questions. And this is going to be a great series for beginners, but also for veterans because maybe you're going to find some things that you didn't know. And maybe you're going to find some things that I don't know and you can tell me in the comments, which would be great as well. So I just opened up Run 8 and you can see in the bottom left there under route selection that I've got all the routes for Southern California. If you just bought Run 8, you're not going to have all those, but that's fine. Just keep following along. So I don't want to highlight any of them. You never highlight them when you come to the main menu. You just go up to select scenario. If you highlight a few, then only those will load and the others won't, and you get then the tracks don't show up on the screen. So you just always want to leave them all unhighlighted, which will load all of them. So then I'll just go to select scenario, and then I've basically reset my all my files. So this is how it comes, I believe. I think these Lone Pines come with that add-on, so you probably won't see this Trona or Lone Pine. I think in the default game, you just get this default route session and this V3 Busy Barstow world save. So if I open up, this is the one usually I think people open is this V3 Busy Barstow. Just that, that's what I did when I first got the game. And now it's just going to load in all the trains onto the map that were saved in this. So this was just probably made by the developers. They just set this up and then saved it as a world save, just something to start with. So you're going to see all the trains loading in, and it's pretty foggy, so I'm going to switch. I'm just going to give us nice weather here so it's easier to see. But it looks like all the trains are loaded in, and we're in Barstow Yard. But as you can see, if you're new to this, it's pretty overwhelming because you got trains here that if I turn the tagger on, you can see all the tags up there, but you're kind of looking around. I remember when I first started, I was looking around here for maybe an hour, like just trying to figure out, like, what does this BEL mean? Should I be moving this train here? This hump train? What, like how I just completely lost on like what I should do. And there's so much, look at all this stuff in here. Look at all these engines packed, waiting to go. So it gets very overwhelming. So what I'm going to do is if you want, I mean, it's perfectly fine to just play this from here and just take off from here if you want. But, you're probably looking at like all these symbols and just lost. So I thought it would be the best to just start from scratch and we're just going to build up the map. So we've got, we'll eventually have a fully populated map and we'll know what's going on and it'll be great. So if you go to the sim options in the top left and then down here, you could see there's currently 4,463 units in this world save. So there's that many freight cars and locomotives on the map. And if I hit F3 and open up the dispatch screen, you can see all these trains. I haven't turned auto on yet, so that's why they're red and stopped. And there's a lot of switches thrown out here too on the main lines. But you can see we got a lot going on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit F1 and I'm going to go. So if I go to extra board, these are just locations. All these things are just saved specific locations. So if I go to Barstow Hump and hit load, we're just right where we were, just over at the hump controller. Before we were just down there further. So now we're just at the hump controller. So it just saved that location. But all the train cars are still here. But we want to start this whole thing from scratch. So what I need to do is go first back to the main menu. And then now go to the extra board. And I'll go same one again, the Barstow Hump. And I'm going to launch. And it's going to bring us to that same location. But since I loaded an extra board save from the main menu, it's just going to load that location. And the whole map's going to be empty. So as you can see now, look at that, completely empty yard. And if I go up here to sim options, total units in world 0. If I hit F3, we've got a completely empty map. So that's what we want. And now I'm going to hit F1 again, go to the world save, and I got this one here, Warren Van Ross YouTube. I'm going to hit save overwrite, and then at the top there you see world saved as Warren Van Ross YouTube. So now we've got our fresh save, and the next thing we need to do is we got to get these spawn points set up. Now, I've got a lot in here because when I bought the additional like Bakersfield sub and the Seligman sub, all these additional ones come with it. So if you just have the base game, you wouldn't have all this many listed. But it doesn't matter because we're going to get rid of all these and we're going to start from scratch. But before we do that, it's important that we back everything up. So I'm actually going to exit, and then I'm going to go to, you want to go to wherever you installed Run 8. So for me, it's in just on the C drive, and then Run 8 Studios, and then Run 8 V3. So what I recommend is backing up. I don't know if there's anything in this V2 that needs to really be backed up, but you can back up both. I would just recommend with an external hard drive or in the cloud, both of these folders. Just highlight them, copy them, and paste them to an external hard drive or a thumb drive, just so before you really do much in the game, you've got all these files backed up. Because if you make a mistake, it's going to be a nightmare then. So it's real important to back them up. And actually, before we get started on the spawn points, the other thing you want to do is you want to go to the Run 8 Guides website. I'll put a link in the description below. And you want to download and install the external assistant. And this website has a whole bunch of great guides for new players, PDFs that get you started, and all kinds of cool add-on things. But for now, we're just going to do the external assistant because we're not going to look at it in super detail, but the main thing is it has an awesome feature that automatically backs up all of your important Run 8 files once a day in the background. You don't even have to open up the program. So you're going to download it. You're going to save it on your desktop or whatever, but then you're going to install it. And when you install it, it's going to install into your C drive or whatever your main hard drive's called. And it's going to go into this EA4R8, External Assistant for Run 8 folder. And then here's the exe here. So once you get this installed, then I got a start menu option here. And then you see it pop up down here in the bottom right. And if I right click it and go to settings, then I got to choose my Run 8 location, which I got here for where I have Run 8 V3 installed. So that's set. If you don't have this filled in, you got to click this here and point it to the right spot. And then here's the important one here, this backup file location. You can put this wherever you want. So I have it in a folder that'll also not only be on the hard drive, but also back up to iCloud as well. Microsoft OneDrive is where it backs up in the cloud. So once you have this pointed in the spot on your desk, on your hard drive where you want the backups to be, make sure that you have this box checked, backup Run 8 config files once a day automatically. I have this unchecked, the start exit external assistant when Run 8 starts, because I don't need it up, or I can manually open it, so I just leave that unchecked. So it never runs on its own unless I go in and open it. But the automatic backups do run on their own once a day. And I'm going to show you here, if I go into where I have them saved under, this is just where I put mine, there's going to be daily backups and special backups. And the special backups are never going to be deleted unless you go in here and delete them. And the daily backups, you can see here, I've got a backup for once a day, or just every day that I turn the computer on. If you don't run your computer that day, it's not going to back it up. But it's going to automatically do one every day you turn the computer on. And like if I go into one here, it's really nice because everything's in the right order. It doesn't back up every single file in the Run 8 V3 folder, but just the important stuff like your industry config, your keyboard settings, rail driver calibration. And then if I go to routes, regions, Southern California, the traffic file, hump, and industry config, super important. And it backs it up every day. So if you're changing stuff on your traffic or your industry config and then you make a mistake, you could very easily come back to any day you want and grab the file, paste it in to your Run 8 folder, and you're back to where you left off. It even saves all your train files here. So these were all the train files I had on that day. So it's an extremely important tool. So that's why I'm recommending you do that first before getting in and messing, making any changes. Make sure that you got your backups going. So now we're back in Run 8 and we're going to do some spawn point configuration. But if you want to just drive a train before you even do that, and that's what I did. I remember I just went, since I had the Seligman sub, if I go over here, when I first got Run 8, I just bought a bunch of add-ons and I can come over here to main 2. So this is the farthest point, East Seligman. This is far east as Run 8 goes for SoCal. So you can see the track stop here. This would be heading towards Flagstaff. But if you wanted to, you could just come over here. And if you want to drive a train, this is what I did. And I think I drove it all the way to Barstow before I really did anything else. The quickest way would be to hold shift and hit F2. Go to traffic generation, spawn points. Find your Seligman spawn point. So if you don't own Seligman, you would just look for Needles. So you would want Needles main 1. Well, let's just do that one because that's probably the one that you have. So if I go to train types and let's go mixed freight, and then we can pick any of these symbols, and I'll just do this Kansas City to Barstow, hit spawn now. And you can see in the top left, it placed the train. But, where is it? Because we're in Seligman, and this was just placed in Needles. So all I need to do, there's several ways, but quick way, click AI status up here. Here's the train that just dropped in. Hit transport. And here it is. So it's starting up as an AI train. And the engines are firing up. And this is Needles right here. So this is the Needles yard. And this train is heading westbound towards Barstow. So if I just click it, I'm going to undo both of these. Stop and hold position, hold, and relinquish when stopped. So as soon as the AI is done getting everything fired up, it's going to relinquish. And see, it says relinquishing in the tag. It's kind of hard to read because it's blends in. But it's still there we go. So now it's relinquished. The AI crew's gone. And I can click it. So now I'm in control of it. And then if I hit the 1 key, that's another thing too. So 1 key puts me in here. These are my key bindings, and I'm going to share them. I got to share them with you because it'll be easier for me to just tell you my key bindings because I don't remember the defaults. And I'll share them with you. So if you want to, you can just drag and drop my key binding configuration into your folder so that you're playing with the same one. Because the way I have it set up, in my opinion, is super easy, much better than the default. And then you can just go ahead and start driving. I'm not going to do really a tutorial right now on how to drive, but basically all you'd have to do just to get started real quick is just call up auto, turn them on first, hit the dispatch menu, tone them up, pull off your handbrake with F5, and then put the request signal. Put us into forward. Release the automatic brake. And then we got a green signal, and I'm going to put us in notch 1. And I'm just doing this real quick because we're not gonna stick with this train. I'm just showing you if you wanted to, just how quickly you could get a train dropped in if you just want to kind of mess around driving. And then by just clicking and holding, you can open the window if you want a little more sound, or this one. That back door let in a lot of engine sound. And then you can just follow the signals, and Auto will route you all the way into Barstow Yard because of our train tag. So if I come over here and look here, so here's our symbol here, H for manifest, KCK to Barstow. So this Auto will take us right into the yard. But I'm gonna bail out of here real quick because we got to get some spawn points configured. But if you want to just pause this video and drive this train and then come back to this point later, go right ahead. So I'm just gonna hit delete, and then now we got to do some spawn points. So we're gonna do F2, Shift F2, go up to AI traffic generation spawn points, and I'm gonna take all these out of here because we're just starting from scratch. So I'm just gonna hit delete. And this is why, before you do this, make sure that you've backed up all of your files, that entire Run8 v3 folder, before you do this. Because if you ever wanted to go back, it would be too late. Obviously, I have everything backed up, so I'm not worried about doing this. But I'm just getting all these out of here, because a lot of these you probably wouldn't use. There's a lot of siding locations that I never really use sidings. I just have it. I just set up all my spawn points at the edges of the map. So now let's create a spawn point. So the first one will be the main one. And for me, it's Seligman. So for you, if you didn't have that, you would have you'd be looking at this screen and you'd have needles here, and you'd probably want to put it right here, like drop the train where he's right at this signal. So you would go to that spot, which I think was kind of like right where we were. Yeah, so here's where we just were. And those tracks go way out there. So that's probably long enough. So I think, yeah, it was like right here. So if you were going to, if you just have the base game, you could set up your spawn point right here in the same way I'm going to show you now, but I'm going to do it over at Seligman. So I need to go over here, and I'm going to do Seligman main 2. So I noticed in the default spawn points that were in here, I think it had Seligman main 1. I think it was spawning on Seligman main 1, which is this upper track. Yeah, that's main 1. But I want to put it on main 2 because these are left-hand running at this point, and then they switch over here at this Truxton. So I noticed if you have trains spawn in on main 1 heading westbound, Auto pretty much just switches them over to main 2 like right away anyways. So because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they should just be coming in on main 2 like from Flagstaff. So I put the spawn point. We're going to put it on main 2. All right, so in order to make a spawn point, we just need to open up our consist menu with left control F1, or up here, you can come up here and do it. And we can really pick anything, but it's easiest to pick a freight locomotive. Doesn't matter which one. I'll just pick this BNSF-9. And then instead of hitting place train or place AI train, you want to hit place spawn point up here. And then now I want the train to spawn in right here. So you want to make sure that it's facing the right way. See how it's facing towards me? So when it spawns in, it's going to be heading west towards me and going that way, which is towards Barstow and the west coast. If I were to come over here and put it on main 2 like this, it would spawn in and it would be going east, and that's not the way we want. So it's important to make sure that your train is facing the right way when you do this. So I just go place spawn point, and then actually, hold on a second. Before I do that, what I like to do is I have my spreadsheet here, and I like to add all the spawn points that I'm using into this spreadsheet. I think these red ones I still need to put in. So these are all ones that I have in my game. So what I like to do is grab it. So we're going to do this East Seligman Main 2 westbound is what we're doing right now. So I copy the text from here. Then in run 8, I go place spawn point. And now when I click, I get this tiny window in the top right corner. It says new spawn point. And I want this to say spawn point here. There's a few other options, but we're not going to get into that now. We're just making spawn points. Then up in here, I'm going to select all this. I'm going to use Control V to paste over that text with the one I just grabbed from my spreadsheet. So it's BNSF, keeps them grouped nicely in the list, and then East Seligman Main 2 westbound. We don't need to worry about time or skip auto train. So then all we do is just hit save. And then it says AI special location saved BNSF Seligman sub. And then I hit escape. That pulls that box off the top right. And that's it. Our spawn point is in there. So now if I go to Shift F2 again and I click on spawn points, there's nothing there. And you're saying, well, what's going on? Well, the reason is because we have to reload. So I'm just going to hit F1 and do a world save again right here. I'm going to overwrite this file. And now we're going to start up right here again when I reload. So all I need to do is go to the main menu. And then I'm just going to relaunch the one I just saved, this one right here. And you can see we're right back where I just saved it. But now if I go Shift F2 and I hit spawn points, look at this. Here's our first one we just made. BNSF East Seligman Main 2 westbound. But you'll see the slider here is just off, and train types, all these sliders are off, and we got nothing in here. If I click mixed containers, we've got no train symbols in here. It's all blank. So what we need to do is figure out what train symbols we want to put in. So what I do is I go to this website, railroadfan.com, and again, during this whole series that I'm doing, I'm just trying to give you guys ideas and show you ways to do it. But this is in no way the definitive way or the only way that you can do it. That's what's great about Run 8 is there's so many, you can be so creative in how you set it up. I mean, it's your railroad. You can do it exactly how you want. If there's something better than this, let me know, better than this train symbol info here. But this is what I used. So what I did is here's all BNSF train symbols. So you got bear tables, loaded coal. These are all like where they go, origin, destination. There's notes, all the symbols here on the left. So I took all these, copied them, and pasted them into my spreadsheet, and then put them here under BNSF symbols. And then I formatted it so that there's colors, and I added some columns. I got the symbols. I've got the destination, frequency, notes, all this stuff in here. And then I also made a column here that says relevant. So I had to go through all these and sort them and like look through and see which ones would be relevant, because this isn't, every symbol on this list does not pertain to the map that I'm in Run 8. So if it wasn't relevant, if I made this into a no, then it grays it out. And if it is, I just type yes, and it automatically turns it blue and makes it easier to see. So like I can sort by train type, and you can see here now, all these blue ones are ones that are relevant. And then I made this column here that says in Run 8. And if there's a yes, that means I added the symbol into Run 8, and if it's blank, I haven't gotten to it yet, but it needs to be added. And then you can see all these grayed out ones are not relevant. They're not going through the map here. And it's totally possible I might have missed one, because there's hundreds in here. But by doing this, it makes it way easier to get everything organized. And then I can take this list and I can come into Run 8 and start adding these symbols one by one. So like what I would do here is I would go, let's see, think I did, let's do manifest and click OK. So now it's only going to show me manifest trains, and then the blues are on top. Yeah, so all these are irrelevant down here. So I need to add all these in. And then I also made a column here called spawn point, and I put in the exact text I use for the spawn point. So like, see, these are Seligman Main 2 westbound. So I know that these have to go into the spawn point that I just created for Seligman. And then like this one would be coming out of Hobart Yard, ramp 1 eastbound, or East Riverbank Yard. I mean, we got stuff going all over the map. So to show you how you would add the symbols, I'm going to go to back into Run 8 and then Shift F2, spawn points. We're going to select, make sure this, well, it's the only one we got, but make sure it's highlighted. And then I'm going to go to mixed freight, and I'll just move the slider so we know we got something there. Train symbols, and then I'm going to hit add. And now I'm going to go back to that spreadsheet real quick, and we're just going to grab this first one. So all I do is copy this, come back in here, paste it, and then you have to make sure you got a dash. The spreadsheet doesn't have dashes. I should have AI do that for me, but you just have to make sure there's a dash, and then you got KCK for Kansas City, and then BAR. So this one will be going to Barstow Yard, and then a number 9 for priority. So once that's in there, then you can select all of your detail here. So like, I'm not going to do any caboose. DPUs will allow that. Mid-train DPUs on this one, I'll hit no. Tagged for industries, I'm not going to do that yet. So I'm just going to put Barstow Yard. And I like to, on the trains, actually, because oh yeah, let's just do it. So on the trains that are just going across the map, in the tag section, I like to put the, actually, I think I like to put the origin and the destination. So I would come on the spreadsheet here, I would come over here, and I would do like Kansas City, Kansas, maybe copy that, come back in here, and space, and then Barstow Yard. And it doesn't like commas. You see the comma there after Kansas City? If I do this and come back, it takes that space out of there. So what I do, like, it won't let you have a comma and a space. So I'll just leave the comma out of there. So what I'll do then is I'll just put in, so that we got the origin, Kansas City, Kansas, a dash, and then the destination. In this case, it's Barstow Yard. And what this will do is when I'm looking at a train that's driving by, I can turn on the tags, and every single car in the train will show this info. So I can see where it's going as it's driving by. And then for train priority, you want to put, so in this case, this is going to be a king of the rails. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but basically what I'm doing is these numbers are the priority here. So this 9 is really the highest. So I'm just doing, like, if there's nothing or a 1, that's utter peon. 2 to 3 is low. 4 to 5 is medium. 6 to 7 is high. And then 8 and 9 is king of the rails. So that's how I've been doing it. And then depending on what you put here, I don't think this number is read by auto. It's just more for you to see. But I think whatever you put here, these options, auto is going to route that train differently and give them more priority or less priority. And then since this one's going into Barstow, we don't need to check Tehachapi westbound or Cajon or any of these because it's not going through there. And then all I got to do is I'll just pick like ES44, SD70 ACE. I'll pick all 3 of those. If you wanted to have SD40-2s, you can do that. I'll do these options, or if you just wanted strictly BNSF livery ones, you choose that. So you could just pick whatever you want here. You do. Sometimes I'll do a Norfolk Southern or a CSX for a certain symbol. It's just so you have a little bit of mix. If you even bought those, additional packs, that's totally up to you. And then you just repeat this process for all the different mixed freight trains. So, because we're doing mixed freight up here, make sure you can see that. You wouldn't want to be adding like symbols for stack trains and containers under this mixed freight category, because that you're going to get mixed freight. So you got to make sure you're in the right section. So then what I would do is I had marked here in Run 8 yes, and then so actually I would have these deleted out of here, but I'm not going to. I'll show you why in a second. But you'd start with these blank, and then as you add it, you'd put a yes, and then I'd move to the next one. So I got a, let's do one that's, well, these are all going to Barstow here. Let's do, everything's all Fresno to Pasco, Washington. That's not a seligman. All right, I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, these are mixed manifest. You know what? Let's just do another one of these. All right, so we'll do Galesburg, Illinois to Barstow. So you just do the same thing. Copy that, come in here, paste it, make sure you got add the dash. And then actually, I think I can go across like this, copy both of these, come back in here and paste it. Yeah, and then I just got to hit delete that comma. Oh. And then add that center dash. Get rid of that comma, and there we go. And then, again, just same process. Do you want DPUs on the train or not? If you have no, then you won't get any DPUs. This one is a number 1, so that's going to be 0 to 1 outer peon. Let's just do SD70s and ES44s, BNSF. And that's it. So now, if you come back to the main traffic options menu and you turn this on, auto or just AI is just automatically going to spawn that train, and it's going to wait 15 minutes to somewhere between 15 and 37 minutes or whatever you put here. You can change this before it spawns the next one, and then another 15 to 30 minutes before the next one once you have a whole lot of symbols in. And then the max trains is 30. So if there's 30 trains on the map, AI won't spawn another one until a train leaves the map. And then the train symbol timeout hours is currently 24. So that just means that it's going to take 24 hours of gameplay before it spawns a specific symbol again, once it's already happened. And you can shorten that way down or lengthen it. I think probably up to 48 max, I think. So now if I want to drop one of these trains in, I could just hit this here, spawn random train now. No available spawn points at this time. Oh, let's see, maybe because I didn't have the probability up. So let's put this up there. See if that helps. There we go. And there it is. So it did a KCK to Barstow 9, so that was one of the 2 symbols. And it's automatically, now I manually hit spawn random train, but if I had just left it with random trains enabled, the computer would have eventually automatically dropped one of these trains in on its own. But I didn't know when, I'd have to wait a little bit. So I just did it. I just clicked the button. But once you have all your symbols, a whole bunch of symbols in there, and you have this set to enabled random AI traffic, it's just going to just be doing it as you play it. The trains are just going to be dropping in to all your different spawn points. And we got to make sure we have auto engaged. And then he's going to give him a light here automatically. So we should see, there it is. There's this green. And he's going to just take off here now. And he's going to go all the way, auto will route this train all the way to Barstow Yard. And you're going to hear he'll blow the horn a few times. I just silenced all the horns because when I'm playing, I just keep it more calm and relaxed so the horns aren't always blowing. But you will likely hear the horn on your end when you do this. So now to create another spawn point on the edge of the map, for me, since I've got all of these, I would have to go up to West Riverbank, East Riverbank, and here's the riverbank yard, and then repeat that same process again and drop a spawn point here for trains coming down from Stockton and Modesto. But I'm not going to do that now. And I've got good news and bad news. And we'll talk about that more on episode number 2. So stay tuned.